Today, at Crazy Car Project, we work on a Buick. In particular, of the 20 Buicks we have, we're working on my 94 Regal Gran Sport with a 3800 Series 1.
We've got 3.
That's a Series
100. Well, look at the beauty cover, but it doesn't say anything except for tombstone, so it's a Series 1.5, because technically the first model had no series, the second model had a Series 1, the third model was Series 2. So yeah, it's that one, which makes a difference because the belt's a little different. But what we're going to be doing is new alternator, new battery, which that's why that's out, because that's fun. New belt, and I've got fan relays to figure out because I've got the fans doing screwy things. I've got a new fluid level sensor because that's been going haywire and saying there's no fluid when it's overfilled. And the biggest thing is going to be the alternator getting the electrical issues run, because half of the gremlins it's been suffering is probably because this isn't putting out power consistently. But this is the original alternator. This car has almost 160,000 miles on it, and it's from 1994. So I can't complain. Sizes, to start with, the bolts here are 13 millimeter because GM, when they converted, they used 13 millimeter. And the tensioner is right here, and you just grab this bolt, pull up on it, and that loosens the belt. So
the temperature also, tensioner also 13 millimeter?
Yeah, no, that's an 18 millimeter.
Okay. 18
millimeter on that, and there you go. Loosens the belt, and it comes right off. And belt diagram's there, thankfully.
And if y'all don't have that, let me try to get that in there. Because sometimes these things get taken off the car. If you need this, you're welcome. Just give us a welcome and thank you in the comments. Please.
Oh, and the interesting thing, if you wonder whether you have a Series 1 or a first gen, if you have a first gen, there is a stabilizer bar that goes to this bolt. If you have a Series 1, the stabilizer bolt that goes to, bar that goes to this bolt's gone. Which makes the belt a whole lot easier to change.
What's the difference between a first gen and a Series 1?
Different alternator, the support, the engine support, the bars. You had all the extra support bars that they changed with the unibodies in the vehicles. So they changed the mount points. And I think there's a little different setup with the fuel injection. So, and ABS.
So you mean there's 3 generations? They just changed the naming scheme after...
They did. There's 3 generations.
There's a prequel to the Series 1, 2, and 3.
Some things argue there's a 4th generation. The last one, I don't know if it was actually listed as Series 3 or if it was just continuation of Series 2, but there was another generation.
I'm pretty sure the ones in like the 2004 and stuff, Impalas and whatnot, were called the Series 3.
Yeah, I think they were, and I think it was the last gen on it. But this belt's actually in really good shape. It's just, I can't see, yeah. It's in really good shape, but it's almost 10 years old. So.
Oh, you've got it off anyway. So.
I've got it off, so I'm replacing it. This will become a spare belt. And, yeah, this is the easy part. This will probably be done in parts because I got to get a battery. And plus, I'm working around work schedule, so today it's probably just going to be removal of the alternator. That's the wrong one. This is 17. See, righty tighty, lefty loosey. Nope, that's tighty. The other left. No, I was right the first time.
The third left.
It's one of those lefts.
The third left on the right?
My left, your left, or its left. Okay, and to take that one slightly loose, take this one slightly loose, and then once I get these bolts loosened, I'll disconnect the wires before I take them completely out. That way I don't put any stress on the wires, and I'll check the ends. And like I said, this may end up being a really quick video because I've got to go get battery and stuff before I get everything done. And I got to remember how to get this one off. Wonderful lighting. This, it comes off, and there's a bolt under there, but I can't get the rubber off. But you have this, and you have this plug here, and you have another wire down there. I think it may be easier to take this all off. But yeah. And beauty cover's already been taken off. And you see the fuel injectors there. They're fairly easy to get to.
Where's it at?
These are the fuel injectors. Spark plugs are down there and way the heck back there where I can't get my arm into. And of course, that's the wire that a mouse chewed on, is the one of the ones that go to the back. So I might change that out, I might not. They didn't choose into the electrical, they just choose through the insulation in a spot. I need to check those back there while I've got the beauty cover off and make sure they didn't chew in back there though. So, light. And I do not know if I'm going to have to take that off. I'm hoping not. That's one of the weird connector bars.
We're all learning together.
Yeah, this is a vehicle I haven't exchanged an alternator on before. I've owned it since 2001. I haven't needed to. I haven't changed the belt on it either because the times I've had the belts done, one time the AC compressor exploded and ended up going to a Buick dealership to have that done because it was still fairly new and no one else wanted to work on it. And the other time, well, fairly new, it was 2003. And the other time, I just had it done as part of regular maintenance.
So you're saying the alternator is approximately 20 years old?
25 years old?
Actually, you said 1994?
Yeah, this is a 94, so
it's
yeah, it's 30 years old.
The alternator is 30 years old, but the belt is not 30 years old.
No, the belt's almost 10 years old, but it's only got about 30,000 miles on it.
Yeah, this is your fun vehicle. You don't actually use this for much of anything else anymore.
Not anymore.
Which is actually my theory, that there is a fun factor that lies somewhere between the feel of control of a vehicle.
Okay, and this plug's fairly easy. Yeah, sorry, interrupt is his bit, but you just lift that up and pull that off. Now the hard part is this is just bolted on, but there's a rubber boot and it's in good shape, and I'm trying not to mess it up, and I'm attempting to get that boot off. So,
but like I said, there's a fun factor between the feel of the control of a vehicle and the power to weight ratio of a vehicle. So the more power you have at your control,
go ahead.
And less of a feel you got on your vehicle, the less the feel of control you got, the more fun it is. Which is why I say, and a lot of other people say, slow car fast is a lot more fun than fast car fast.
Okay, and my bent screwdriver for gently prying stuff. Oh, and other things I'm changing while I'm in here, I've ordered. If you notice, there's a wonderful water pumped engine water hose that sits under the alternator. You have to remove the alternator to change it. As far as I know, that hose is from 1994. If it's been replaced, it was replaced when the AC compressor went kablooey. So that would have been in 2003. So it's at least 20 years old.
So you're saying it's due?
Yeah. And it should be... Well, that don't match. It's supposed to be this one. But that's not the same. I got another one in here, so hopefully it's the right one. If not, I'm going to be buying another hose.
You didn't get one of my Buicks mixed up with one of yours, did
No, and that's, of course, not 13. That's probably going to be 10, 12. Stay. Oh, yeah, and bolt size, this is a 10 millimeter. As you can see, everything's good and clean, so it's just getting age on it. It's possible I could clean this all up and rejuvenate this alternator, but yeah, that's a later video. Nice thing about it is this one, the new one with pulley, supposed to be new build, it does not require a core. It did not have a core charge, so I can keep this one and play with it later.
You won't.
Oh, I'll keep it. I don't know if I ever get around to playing with it.
There you go.
And there we go. And I also got one without a pulley because with a pulley, because I've had a lot of ones over the years where I bought it without a pulley, and then I ended up having to order a pulley because when I've gone to pull the pulley, I have boogered up the pulley.
So in other words, double check to make sure your alternator comes with a pulley. It may not have a pulley.
Yeah,
I think it's pretty hard to find alternators nowadays that don't come with the pulley, unless you're buying for like a super classic.
This was the only one I could find available with a pulley that was in stock.
Well, congratulations.
Everything else came without a pulley. And there was only 3 of these available in the whole country. Now there's 2. So, and that's it for the dismantle. So now we'll start the new.
That hose has been changed before. Look at the hose clamps.
Yeah, I think it was.
They're not the GM ones.
No, I know they're not. So it's probably been changed. It was probably changed when the AC went kablooey, because I think it actually damaged the hose. That's where I think all this mess came from. Because it didn't just, the AC's down here, it seized, and it didn't just seize, the clutch shattered, and it sheared the bracket off, and it sent the bracket slinging, and everything else slinging. So it did some damage in here. Luckily it didn't break the radiator, but it did break a few hoses, and I had to have a new AC compressor done. I had to have new hoses put on. That's when that one was likely changed. New belt. I think they may have replaced the tensioner at that point.
So what you're saying is the car that's usually the least broken is the one that you haven't put your hands on before.
Well, I'll put my hands on it, but not this part. So that's disassembly. Fairly easy. If you're just changing the belt, you would just do the pull up and put it back together. And if you change the alternator, I do recommend changing this line while it's out, unless you've done it recently. And I'm going to do that. This may be the end of this video, and we'll be coming back. There is, oh boy, there is stuff I don't want to see. I may be doing a water pump. I'm probably doing a water pump.
Crusties.
Because it is bleeding pretty bad.
Is that the fresh liquid I was seeing on the
Yep.
the tensioner?
Look at where it's bleeding. There's water around the bolts, there's water around the bottom, and it's dripping down on the engine part there, the feed. And it's got a pool down there in the cross member. So yeah, the water pump has taken to being a water
fall.
Yeah. So now I'm going to have to get a water pump. Yep, it's a crazy car project, that's for sure. Once again, can't complain. It's 30 years old.
This is what usually happens. This is why you got to keep your eyes peeled on these things, I guess.
But once again, it's not a bad time to change water pump. You got to change the alternator, at least you're in there.
Yeah.
I've got to take this off anyways to change the fluid level sensor. That may be part of why the coolant system's been going haywire and probably why it overheated.
You could always assemble that quick check so you could easily be...
Yeah, but I do all this from above the car, not underneath it.
Oh, okay. Well then,
You better not spill coolant on my carpet.
Your carpet will now be orange.
I don't need Dex Cool on the rug.
But you wanted it cleaned, so it's getting cleaned.
Your carpet is going to be 70s orange.
Don't worry, I'll put cardboard under it like I did everything else.
I won't be able to resist licking the sweet glycol off the carpet.
Sounds like a personal problem. Remember, don't lick your coolant. So, with that, this is going to be the end of this episode because I have to track down a water pump now. And considering it took me 3 months to get a new alternator with a pulley, yeah.
You gotta suck it out of the rug.
So,
Have your roommate spayed and neutered, everybody.
well, so like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you again later. Have a good one.